College Productions.
Good afternoon, everybody. This is Coach D Powerhouse, back at it again, live one time for your mind. Episode 3 on the podcast of Coach D, Fighting is Life. This episode and this segment today will be talking about coaching. Coaching for martial arts and boxing, combat sports coaching. The good, the bad, the ugly, the truth, the behind the scenes, the things that you don't know is what we're going to talk about in this podcast this evening. Myself being a coach, have a lot of behind the scenes of things that people don't know, and my job today is to actually bring light to everybody, from other families to other coaches, to fighters, to gym owners, to everybody that doesn't see the behind the scenes and what coaches go through or what they deal with or what they're up against or what they have to endure and the things they have to worry about. It's so much into it, and after this podcast maybe I could share some light or give you some wisdom and understanding, and that way everybody can be maybe on a better page in the future about what's going on. I'll share this with you. I'll start with me, and personally, I have to start with me because I can show you the things that I've dealt with, the issues that I had, and stuff that I dealt with as a coach, and the stuff that sometimes we still deal with that people don't see. First, I want to say there was a MMA coach, a high level and respected martial arts coach that recently killed himself. I think it was about a couple of years ago. He recently killed himself. I believe his name was Sean. I mean, he was a real popular guy. A lot of guys that in the martial arts world have trained with this man and has backed up the fact that he was a good person. I had seen an article a while back, and I don't want to quote too deep because I vaguely remember, but what I remember a lot what the article was talking about, but I do remember is that I think it was his wife or somebody in his family that was saying what he was dealing with as a coach and as a trainer and stuff like that, and he was very depressed and very, very high strung in the situation that he was in. So I want to go ahead and talk about this for a minute. For me, I'll share my testimony a little bit. When I started coaching almost 15 years ago, and I started coaching, boxing in Diamond Hill, which is on the north side of Fort Worth, Texas. I started coaching there. Started my amateur team, Northside Boxing, and I had a pretty nice team. I had my stepson who's now 24 years old. I had a lot of fighters. One of my guys that was actually here at the gym today, Corey Washington. I had a whole group of guys. Without going into too much about that and getting off the subject, I want to say that I had a nice little team. You got to realize something. I was 25 or 25 when I started coaching. Man, and now being at 42, so it's been a long time since I've been coaching. And I tell you what, when I first started coaching, I really loved it. I really enjoyed it. I really liked it. But I also walked into the coaching game with no knowledge of what this thing offered, and good and bad, how I can blow up for you in a good way, how I can blow up in your face in a bad way. I wasn't given a book. I wasn't given a guide. Everything I did was by trial and fire. And I made some mistakes, and I've done some good things, and I made some bad choices. But those all a part of the learning process. But man, what I know now, if I would have known what I know now when I first started coaching, I would have did everything different, meaning the way I would have handled myself, the way I would have handled the people that I coach, the way I would have handled the industry, period. But I felt like there was a reason why that this happened the way that it happened. And it's because it taught me something. It made me learn. It forced me to change. It forced me to do things that I didn't think that either I was capable of doing, or forced me to do things that I didn't want to do, or forced me to do things that I had to do. And so, coaching this long, the game has changed a lot too since I started coaching. The game has changed a lot. And I can say that, like I was saying at the beginning, in the beginning of me coaching, I was like I said, a young coach. I was happy. I was excited. I wanted to, teach everybody things that I was taught to me, and I wanted to win, and I wanted to do all that stuff. I didn't calculate a couple things. I didn't calculate the emotions that come behind coaching. I didn't calculate the heartbreak that comes behind coaching. I didn't calculate the struggle that becomes behind coaching, or the stress. I didn't calculate none of those things, and I didn't calculate that I was going to deal with any of those things. When I started coaching, if you would have told me that I would have dealt with the stuff that I dealt with through my whole coaching career, I would have told you was a liar. I had no idea what I was getting myself into. I had no idea, as I believe that most coaches don't have an idea what they're getting themselves into, And as many coaches before me, they wasn't given a blueprint either. They didn't have people sitting down talking to them about the do's and don't of being a leader, a coach, a mentor. They didn't get that. There was no book. It's like the same thing like being a parent. When you have a kid, when that kid's born, there's no booklet that comes with it. So you got to learn on the job, and you got to be right with it. Well, I can share with you that for me, that I made a lot of good choices, but I made a lot of mistakes. And a lot of these mistakes and choices that you make come with time. It come with time. Nobody's sitting there in the background trying to find a way to create, trying to find a way to be bad or make a mistake or do wrong. Nobody's sitting there trying to do that thing. Those things are going to happen naturally, not just because you're a coach, but just because you're a human being. And I think sometimes what people forget is that coaches are human beings. Coaches are regular people. That's just the bottom line. And they're going to do things that are going to seem controversial. They're going to do things that are controversial. They're going to do things that aren't right, or they're going to make mistakes, and they're going to do things that's going to upset people and stuff like that. Those are the territories those are the things that come with the territory of being a coach or a trainer. And I must say that I've seen both sides of the track. I've seen horrible coaches, and I've seen great coaches. I've seen horrible fighters, and I've seen great fighters. It's all a part of the whole thing. But what I want to say is that, being that it didn't come with a book and you do make mistakes, I want to tell people this. First I want to talk to the coaches. To you coaches out there, man, if you're a new coach, if you're a coach that's been in the game, I just want to share a few words of advice to you, is that just do your job. It's that simple. Do your job and coach whoever walks through your door. Whoever's there, but do that with the thought process of this, that everybody that start with you is not everybody that's going to end with you. So I believe that the best thing to do as a coach is to minimize and watch how you deal with people when it comes to your emotions and your feelings being involved with certain individuals, certain things. And also, coaches, please, you have to also watch your ways, how you act, how you talk, how you speak, because Everybody watches that. They all pick up on it. They all watch it. They might not say anything at first. They might not say nothing to you about it, how you act or what you do. But believe me, when things get hard or things get weary or they get upset at you or they don't like the situation, all that's going to come out. And sometimes you might not have no idea of what's going on or where you went wrong or where everything went wrong. You won't even know until it's all blown up in your face, man. So I can tell you that that's from experience. And what you need to do is go into the situation of with a clear understanding that you are a coach, you are a leader, and you are a mentor, but you also have to set boundaries. You have to set boundaries for yourself, and you have to set boundaries for them. Bottom line, there's no other way of looking around it. If somebody would have told me this stuff, then everything would have been different with me. But I don't take nothing back, because had I not gone through or go through what I go through, then I wouldn't be able to sit here and speak to you like I'm speaking to you now. You know, and people got to understand that, you know, just like everybody else in this world, when you're a leader, just like I talked about on my accountability podcast, episode 1, when you're a leader, when you're a coach, when you're a trainer, when you're whatever you are, eyes are always going to be on you. But let me share y'all about the behind the scenes about that. There's a lot of coaches that do love and care. You know, I heard this one saying, Eric Flores told me this, a buddy of mine, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Shout out to Eric Flores, Alicio, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. He said to me one time, we was talking on the phone, he said, when you want to become a trainer or a coach, prepare to have your heart broken. Those words resonate in my spirit so deep that it clicked. And this was just a couple of years ago when he told me this. So I was already, man, way over a decade in the game when he told me this. But I'm thinking to myself, I can always learn and see and feel things. And so what people don't understand from the other side is that we have families too. We have children too. A lot of us have spouses. Some don't. We have things that we go through in our life too. Whether it be mental, physical, financial, etc. We go through the same things that everybody else go through in their life. But I have a question. Why is it that when somebody of leadership or a coach or a trainer go through something, why isn't it not that valid? That's the question. Why isn't it not that valid? Why aren't coaches and trainers are not allowed to make mistakes? Why not? That doesn't make sense, because that could be no more further than the truth. Because the truth is that we all fall short and we all make mistakes. But I will say this to you coaches, you know, as I take my own advice and have been taking my own advice lately, is that you have to watch how you move, how you speak, how you act, how you talk, what you put out there, what you represent as a man. You have to watch all that. As much as it's hard for me to tell you that, you have to do it. Because if you don't, it will all blow up in your face. Okay? So what I tell people is that when we're sitting there behind closed doors and we're hurting or crying or going through our things, we don't have people to really understand where we're coming from. A lot of us have to have an outlet. For me personally, my outlet is God. My outlet is my dad. My outlet is my mother. So I was blessed to have that, because I can talk to these people, and these same people are ones that can speak to me with constructive criticism and tell me, hey, this is not right. This is not the way to do it. This is not what you say. This is not what you do. And I'm humble enough to hear them and listen to them, because it only does nothing but help my life. But you guys got to understand something. You know, we have lives too. You know, we have things that we deal with too. And they're no different than what you go through. Is it that because we're a trainer, we're supposed to be able to deal with it and suck it up? Sure, I get it. But there also has to be an understanding to that part. You know, when a man goes out, or a woman, or whoever it is, go out their way to love, to help, to show you that they're there. And they make one mistake or two mistakes or a little thing, all of a sudden everybody forgets about all the great things that the coach or the leader had gave you. See, I think this is a very important subject because I believe that everybody in this world and that's involved with combat sports and boxing or whatever, I believe that everybody needs to know these things. And coaches, I'm going to tell you this. When you come in this game, new, fresh, man, come in this game humble. Come in this game with an open mind and watchful and ready to learn and ready to listen. Because I'm going to tell you right now, if you do not do those things, you will get swallowed up and swallowed up quickly. Okay? Nothing lasts forever. Nothing lasts forever. I've been doing this for so long. I've watched people, and I've shared this on my live things, stuff like this, but I've watched people come in the game thinking they was about to build the baddest fight team, the baddest gym that they ever seen. And I can assure you that I've been in this coach game in this metroplex where I'm at in my state of Texas, in my city of Fort Worth, and I've seen that, no offense to anybody, but I have seen barely any gyms or any teams take off the way that they thought they were going to take off. Because a lot of it is miscalculation. Some of it's being delusional. Some of it's just not paying attention. Some of it's just being impulsive. Some of it's just thinking too far, thinking too ahead, instead of just sitting back, relaxing, and watch. And when you get your heart broken or things happen to you, I'm going to tell you right now, just expect it. Just expect it. When you go into any situation, as a trainer, as a coach, expect the worst, but hope for the best. There are a few. There are some that are going to stick with you. There are some that's going to be there with you. But let me share this with you too, coaches. Sometimes it is your fault and our fault too. If you don't have the credentials, or you only take a person as far as you can take them, or, you know, you just can't give them more than what they need, then you also got to be loving and humble enough to let them go. See, that's another flip side of it. So it's like I said, there's the good, the bad, the ugly, the truth about this whole situation. So I'm speaking to you coaches on that level too. If you're not doing what you're supposed to do, if you're falling short, if you're slacking, you're not doing what you're supposed to do, then you got to expect those people to move around and leave. You know what I mean? I mean, the thing about it for you is to always be better and get better every day. The thing about you is for you to stand on who you are as a man, and the only change you need to make is to be better. You know, I've seen it. I've been through it. You know, even myself, I had to step back. I had to step back for a minute and look at myself. I had to step back for a second and say, okay, Coach Durwyn, sit down. The hardest thing for a human being to do is what? To look at themselves. But I did it. Coach Durwyn, what did you do wrong? Where did you go wrong? See, I can look at other people's faults all day, just like we all do. But can you sit in the mirror and really sit down and come to that one-on-one accountability meeting with yourself? Well, that's what I did, and I have no problem doing it because I'm a warrior like that. I believe that the more that I look at myself, the more that I critique myself or check myself, the better I become as a man. And although I felt like there was things that was done against me, which there was, and there's things that went against me, and people did wrong about me and towards me and spoke on my name in a bad way, I still took all of that stuff and put it to the side so I can look in the mirror and check myself and say, you know what, where'd you go wrong? And I was shown where I went wrong. And I said, and it was told to me through the Spirit that if you don't change this about you and these things about you, then you're going to keep going through the same cycle. But I know and I recognize that I was put here as a coach and as a leader. I'm good at what I do. I know what I'm doing. But what does it matter if the person of Durwyn and who I am as a man inside my heart don't change? I realize it don't even matter if people change or not, because when they walk through those doors, they might be gone. Then a new group are going to come in. Some of the old ones will come back. But the main thing is, did I change? Did I change? Did I get better? Did I do something extraordinary to make myself the best possible leader, human being, coach that I ever could be? Those are the questions that you got to ask yourself. Where did you go wrong? What did you do wrong? See, I was at one too. Oh, well, this person did this. Well, this person did this. This person did this. Well, maybe they did. But that's not something you got to worry about. That's something that they got to worry about. That's something they got to deal with. But the thing comes on you. When you're a trainer and you're a leader, or you're a business owner, you're a gym owner, it all falls on you. Whether you want it to or not, it all falls on you. So you have to check yourself. You have to get better. You have to change. That's not going to change the way other people act towards you. That's not going to change that, because guess what? You can give everybody the world and give everybody everything they ever desire. It doesn't mean that they're going to stick by you. It doesn't mean they're not going to talk about you. I realize you don't even have to do nothing wrong and they're going to talk about you. You're the top of the subject. If you're a leader and if you're a coach, you'll be the top of the subject. So we got to also understand as coaches that we got to watch the position that we're in, the power that we're given, and that we use it right and don't abuse it, that we don't use it to hurt and use it to manipulate and use it to control people. We cannot do those things. And I recognize that. We cannot do those things because it doesn't change nothing. You can't control nobody in this world but your actions and what you do and what you say. And that's what and that's what I had to come to conclusion of on a lot of things, that certain situations made me it made me change. It forced me to do things that I had to do, because for a while, being coaching so long, I dropped the ball. I dropped the ball in the coaching game. I was frustrated. I was upset. I was tired. I was just like, I'm done. But then I had a one-on-one meeting with God and in my spirit. And he sat me down and he was like, look, okay, maybe your points are valid, but let's look at you. Let's look at the man at hand. Let's look what you talk about. Let's what you speak about. Let's look at all that. Like I said before, I saw something on Facebook and I really thought it was directed towards me. It said, are you part of the solution, or are you part of the problem? And that hit me because I wanted to hit me. Anything that helps me get better as a man, I want it to hit me right away. And I'm going to face it whether I want to face it or not. And I think that's what we all got to do as men and leaders and stuff like that. But on the flip side of this, coaches, let me share this with you. I, as a coach and a leader, sympathize and empathize with you and everything that you deal with or go through, because nobody's going to care about you, man. Nobody's going to care about you like you care about yourself, or like the close ones with you next to you, like that care about you, because no one knows what you go through. No one knows what you deal with on a daily basis. No one knows the tears, the pain, the hurt that you have to endure, the pain that you have to deal with as a coach and as a leader, as a mentor. But I do. And I can share this with you. It does get better if you want it to get better. You want to get better, it gets better. Because can't nobody stop your shine. Can't nobody stop your success except for you. But you have a job and you have an obligation to these people. And if you're going to stick in this game, and if you're going to stay in this game, if you make that choice to stay in this game, and if you make that mindset to stay in the position as being a coach, then you're going to have to deal with everything that comes with it. And let me share this with you. It don't matter if you do right and don't say it or do a dang thing wrong. They're still going to have something to say about you. They're still going to look at you. Why? Because you're coach. That comes with the territory. And it's something that everybody has to understand. But it doesn't mean that you have to take disrespect either. It doesn't mean that you have to take people stepping on you. It doesn't mean that either. There's a fine line between standing as a man and as a coach and taking it too far. You have to ride that balance, but you have to take care of yourself, because if you don't take care of yourself, then how are you going to take care of anybody else? You have to take care of yourself. And you can't let nobody walk over you, run over you, you know? But you also can't abuse your power. You also can't master manipulate. You also have to stay the course. It's a full-time job. They're watching you, whether it's social media, whether it's in person, whatever you do, they're watching. Whether they say something or not at first, they're watching you. And it will come out. It will come out. But at the end of the day, you just stand on who you are. You just stand on what you're supposed to do. And when those people come to you, you train them and you love them and you teach them as such. If they leave, you let them go. If they come back, embrace them back. And then there might be a new group. A new group might come. And it's always a revolving door. But the main thing about it, you have to stand on who you are. As a man or as a woman, whatever, you have to stand on that. Nobody else but you. You know, it's a hard thing, but no one's ever going to understand. They're not going to understand unless they're in your shoes. So what I want to tell you is that with no struggle, there's no progress. And every struggle helps you become wiser, helps you become, and helps you to have more understanding. But to those out there that judge coaches and leaders, I want you to take a look at yourself. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to take your shoes off and put your feet in the shoes of a coach or a trainer or a leader. And I want you to walk in those shoes. Now, obviously, I mean this in a spiritual and metaphorical way, but I need you to walk in those shoes for a little bit so you can understand what's going on, so you can feel it. Feel these people's hearts. They're human beings that make mistakes, that are trying, that got personal demons themselves, that are going home sometimes stressed out, crying over relationships, over money problems, over their children, over their job, over their family, over their friends, over their relatives. They have those issues too. Now, if I'm going to tell the coaches and hold the coaches and trainers accountable for being leaders, then I'm going to hold you accountable for having understanding. I'm going to hold you accountable for putting yourself in their shoes. I'm going to hold you accountable for having sympathy in your heart for people that are trying to take care of you, people that are trying to love you. Didn't say they was going to be perfect. Are you? No, you're not. Are they? No, they're not. But to have understanding of one's issues, problems, is a powerful thing. To understand what they're going through and where they've been in their life and what they continue to go through in their life is a powerful thing. Did you know that maybe if you guys just uplifted people that are trying to uplift you and ride with the people that's trying to ride with you and uplift them, could you imagine how much powerful your leader could be or will be? But instead, you talk about them, you down them, you kick them, you hurt them, and you forget everything that they did for you? No, let me tell you this. You won't be blessed either. With that mentality, you won't be blessed either. You take care of people that take care of you. I don't care what they do. If they do something wrong, bring it to their attention. Don't let it go quiet. Don't let it go unknown until you get upset, until you get in your feelings. Don't do that, because that's not fair to them. There's a lot that they deal with. You think about what you deal with in your life on a daily basis. Just as a regular person, a fighter, a student, whatever. You think about what you deal with on a daily basis every day. And then you put yourself in that person's shoes who's actually a mentor, coach, or a leader. If we don't do that, then we can't grow. Coaches, Stand your ground. Keep growing. Know what line to cross or not cross. Pay attention. Wake up. To everybody else, I advise you to do the same. And that's my segment on episode 3 of Coach D, Fighting His Life. Coaching the good, the bad, the ugly, and the truth. Bless y'all. You have a great evening.